Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my friend and an amazing person, Bree.
Mm.
Hi, Bree.
Hi, Kathy. It's so nice to see you here through this venue.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Bree and I've been working for, I don't know, maybe not quite a year. And we
Mhm.
have really enjoyed each other's energy. Bree is a true light worker. She
Mm.
really walks her talk and shows up as love and lets others see the love that they are. Right now, we've been working on a project where we're gathering testimonials, and everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone is so grateful for your light, Bree. So tell us about
Mm.
your journey. How did you get to this awareness within yourself so that you could share it with others?
Um, okay, so Kathy, I just want to say you're awesome. And you are so fun and you are so filled with light, Kathy, and you're doing such great work on this planet. So I just want to put that out there publicly.
Thank you.
If people didn't realize it, but everyone that knows you knows it, I'm sure. Um, so the way that I got here to where I am right now, and that is having just written a book and a practicing yoga teacher and a really an energy worker, and it is a light worker. Um, what I did is I slowly through the years started listening to myself, and that's what it was. Um, I I started meditating when I was a sophomore in high school, and it was kind of a secular version of transcendental meditation. And when I read the book, my parents were going through a divorce, and that was shattering for my world. And a teacher gave me the book, "I'm Okay, You're Okay," which had an example of meditation. So I started meditating as an experiment, and I'd go into my closet in my home. I shared a room with my sister, and soon after about a month of practicing it, um, I became aware that I would sit down and I would start to feel this vibration just shake, just, rolling through my body. And I had chose a mantra to learn this meditation style. I chose a mantra, and the mantra was the word one. And I specifically chose the word one because it was a number and it had no religious ties. Another example could have been like God or Allah. So I chose just the number one, thinking, and when I was inhaling in my mind's eye the number one, watching it come in and then watching it exhale out. That's all I was doing. But after a month of practicing this style of meditation, I became aware that we are all one. It it the realization of that settled on me like a blanket that you settle on a lame baby. It just was just it was beautiful, and I was the part of me that observed it all. My everyday me was like, what is this? But because I was seeing a picture of how we are all so connected, how everything is really the one, and we are just an expression in this form, just like my hand is, and I'm expressing as this finger, you're expressing, but it's all connected. And I saw how energy is, the basis of all things, and that is what connects us. And I saw that at the basis of that is light. So that created a lifelong journey of inquiry. Yeah. So I looked at, and I went from there to yoga classes where I felt extreme amounts of energy and felt so strongly that I needed to do yoga and practice it. And so but there was something. Did you want to say something?
Well, I mean, your journey, you were a anchor at a news station.
Yes.
And mom, I mean, you followed the traditional roles that everyone did.
Yes.
Go to school, go to college, get married, have your children, da 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 da. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you made a big decision to live a life much more full of joy. So
Yes.
yeah, so I mean, you were blanket in love, but you recognized it. Bree. So there had to be something that that you did or that happened that activated you to this awareness, because
Mm-hmm.
you're like a beacon of light.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lighthouse. And so I just want people to know that there's ways that Bree works after she's gone through this amazing opening, heart opening, light opening, soul opening, whatever you want to call it. We have lots of names for it.
Mm-hmm.
Body fusion. After she's had that journey, she's able to also take others on that journey so they can be self-actualized and self-realized.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you were gifted the awareness to know that that was part of your journey somehow.
I was, and I wondered why I couldn't, just be happy with the 2.1 cars in the garage and 3.5 televisions and the dog and the all the things that, a beautiful family. So, and this amazing broadcasting career where I was meeting people from all over the world, presidents, presidential hopefuls, interviewing everyone from all walks of life. And what was beautiful about that was I had an insatiable curiosity, and I've been a voracious reader my entire life.
Yes.
But there was still something missing. And I got so busy being the best mother, the best career person, the best friend, the best daughter. So I bought into the roles that society gives you. And they're well-meaning. They keep the society functioning. But at the same time, they deaden our ability. In my case, I don't want to speak for everybody, deadened my ability to hear that still small voice inside. So because I started doing yoga, because I started meditating as a sophomore in high school, I think that was the root. I was able to tap into that from then to the rest of my life. And I knew there was more. And I honored that. And it was hard because the reason it was hard, it doesn't have to be hard. It was hard because I was straddling two worlds. I felt like there's this energetic world, but is it real? I can't see it. I can't feel it. And can I even trust it when everybody else is saying this on one hand, and this is how you should be? So it was a bit of a chasm, but it wasn't until, and I became a yoga teacher. I became a certified integrative life coach. All of those things were to help me get through this world. And in the process, my inner voice became stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And yeah,
you can tell. I mean, everyone that that meets you realizes that your beauty is skin deep. Isn't skin deep. It's your whole being is expressing this beauty and love that everyone has access to. I mean, there is no junk here. Everyone is activating. Everyone is going through this ascension process with Mother Earth, and we need powerful guides that can take us by the hand. Trustworthy guides, basically, is what I want to just compliment you so much that you're so in integrity in every step of the way with how you've tried it before you ever share it with someone else.
I cannot share what I do not know. I cannot share what I have not experienced.
Exactly.
If I'm sharing something that I've not done, then it is a theory, but I can't own it because it's not in me. But it's all, what the seeds of it is in me. So we all have the capability to listen to ourselves. And when we uncover the debris, and that's the social programming, when we just pause and we start to wear what we want to wear because it feels good.
Right.
When we eat what we want to eat because it feels good, not because our body has become addicted to it. So there's a difference. We start to feel and differentiate the higher vibration, what feels better to us, what feels cleaner and lighter. And as we follow that, we find other people who are doing the exact same thing. And then we get to re-amplify that light just by being in proximity with them. As you know.
Attraction. Yeah, I think it's a magnetic attraction. Yeah. And I think that everyone that's ready to take those steps to being who they really are,
Mhm.
Here is a path. Hi, Els. Hi, Zana. Um, um, this is a path to really being self-actualized in a way that you didn't even realize. It's not. It's soft. It's feminine. It's
Mhm.
loving. It's caressing. There's something about it that's this inner peace and strength of will that emerges from what Bree does.
Mm.
But it's connecting. So I think
Mhm.
the paradigm here is just, it's almost like puzzle pieces, and we've got this, our life this way, family, whatever, however you want to look at it. And what you're doing is bringing those puzzle pieces together so that they can be integrated
Integrated.
and instead of discordant,
Mhm.
flow as a wave. And
Yes.
so Bonnie, oh, Bonnie says, "Oh, you make each other shine even more." That's because
Oh,
there's
hey,
true
Bonnie.
love here, you guys. You have
That
to
means
know.
she's shining. That means Bonnie. That means you're shining too.
Right, and
Yeah.
Kristen here. So you guys, if you missed part of this, we are so lucky to have BreWolfe here
Mhm.
because, first of all, she's usually on Maui, and we've got her on the mainland. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and she is launching a book. My company is publishing a book for Bree that I'll show in a minute. But but what I want you to know about is the opportunity to work with Bree, read her book, but also work with her, because you can actually finally bring out your own true essence and live it, and not be afraid of that anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, like really, really answer the calling. And the calling is the nudges that we get inside our body and inside our mind, but really give yourself permission to completely listen to it.
Right.
And don't do anything that's scary, but just silently, not silently, but just gently, lovingly start to speak your truth, whatever that truth is. And if it's not palatable for somebody, you just say, I love you so much, but here's how I see it. Or because what's happening, and this is the bigger thing, what's happening below the surface to all of us is we are all being called. The
Yeah.
old ways of behaving can no longer sustain the planet and our bodies. So we are being called to step into our value system with everything that we do, every decision that we make. We're being called to to examine all the beliefs that we've just adopted and instead live from a place that, oh, okay, well, that might have been the way that my parents did it, but maybe it no longer serves the
Right.
earth or me.
Right.
Something as simple as, continually using plastic. Or so it's tiny little behaviors that, the problems, we have to be, Gandhi said it, and I know it's overused, but we have to be the change we wish to see. And
Right.
it can be overwhelming. But if we start in our tiny little corner of the world and we make the difference just in our corner of the world, then we've done what we need to do.
Right.
And then
Right.
it gets bigger and bigger, and then we connect, and it gets bigger. And what that is it's to honoring ourself. Those actions would be honoring of the self and honoring of our mother, the Mother Earth.
Well, we are our Mother Earth. That's
That's it. We're all one.
see, Bree, you're so modest about all this. I've got to try to, because really what you're doing is that you're helping people find their authentic voice and their authentic self. And that's not congruent with hurting the planet, doing anything that harms others. It's not service to self versus service to others. It is in service for all. And
Yes.
you can't be there in a powerless state. We're our conditioning and our programming from living in planet Earth, and we obviously came here at this time to experience the opportunity to choose. Because if we would have come here 100 years ago, forget it. But right now, this is the perfect time to choose to be
Yes.
that you are, right?
Yes, we have come to a place, and I feel like we're all choosing to be here at this exact time. We have come to this place, to this planet at this exact time to make these changes. And we are all being called to step into this higher way of living.
Right.
And I answered the call. We're all being called. We all can choose to answer or not to answer. And what does that look like? It looks like listening to, when we were aware of, when we were younger, we were aware that we could talk to, let's say, the animals. They could get our vibe. And then that's kind of pressed out of us through modern day living. But the truth of it is we are all in communication with each other and all sentient beings all the time. So we start coming from a place, we take actions that honor that knowing. But we don't even have to think about it so much. We just have to think, does this feel good? Does this not feel good? And that's as far as we have to think about it. Then we are on the path. But this is an incredible time to be here on the planet right now.
That's right.
That brings me to a chapter in my book.
Okay.
The chapter is...
Do you want me to share the book? Okay.
Yeah! Yay! Oh my God. Look at that. That is the book cover, Breathe, Your Guide to Yoga, Cannabis, and Spirituality. And I was walking in the Iao Valley in Maui, and that is exactly what it looks like. That's not the picture of the valley, but it looks exactly like that. And that is a place of such high vibration. And when you look at the book, it is just light energy streaming out, and it's our beloved planet, and that's like this beautiful rainforest, which is the giver of all life. So yeah. So there's
Well, I wanted to share that we picked this picture and we were creating the cover, and then maybe an hour later or 2 hours later, you went, "Oh my God, I'm standing where that picture is." And
yes.
we were working, there was so many synchronicities like that where we'd talk about it, and then within the day, everything would happen. Yeah. So
physically. The experience materialized physically after we saw it in our mind's eye or in our head and pictured it or came up with a picture. Then physically there it was manifesting right like that.
That's great. That's great. Well, so do you want? Let me just read a couple of things from Zach. Or Xana says, yes. How can I serve the humanity? Is what Xana just asked. Do you have how she can serve?
Yeah, I have an answer that came to me right then, and this is Xandra or Xana.
Xana, Zanna. Xana.
Okay. Xana, the way that we can serve humanity, and the way that you specifically can serve humanity, is to serve yourself. What do you need? Like what do you need to take in more in what does your body need? Starting so simply with just your physical vehicle, so you maneuver around on the planet. But what does your body need? What nutrients, what greens does it need, so that you can more easily hear your voice? And then what does the person right in front of you need? Like the person right in front of you. Once you take care of your needs, then what everyone around you, they are these gifts in your life to show you what do they need? And when you answer what they need, they might need love, they might need a pat on the back, they might need patience, they might need you to show a higher perspective. That's how you serve humanity, right where you are, from the moment that you wake up in the morning until you go to bed. And it's so easy to anchor yourself in the form of service to others, but you have to serve yourself first so that you can go out there and be that gift. But anchor yourself in the morning that you will be, you will listen, And that's how you'll serve it. If you're listening, you will be serving.
Great. Oh, beautiful. Well, one of the people that's here is Elsie Rittenheim, and she was one of the people that wrote the
Yes.
testimonial for your book. So she got to see the earlier versions, and welcome, Elsie.
Elsie, thank you so much for being here.
And then Zach Bergen, he says, be your true self, work on yourself. The micro is the macro. The connection will send your vibration to everyone as you increase your consciousness.
Absolutely. Yeah, it starts with loving ourselves, and that's what this book is about. It's a journey of learning to love myself, and in that process, that journey meant it was the journey of listening. And so that's what's in all of us, and that book is just one tiny example of one little life that where it's made all the difference in me, and that was listening, just listening, and praying for the courage to speak that truth.
Well, this book is an activation. It is more than just a book. Most of the books that I get to publish are that way, where they really have a bigger opportunity to shift humanity. And there's chapters inside this book that talk about intimate things. They talk about do you want to talk about anything about the cannabis and yoga experiences that might, because that really is different. There's lots of different kinds of yoga, but what you're offering is this heart-opening, expansive experience.
Yes. First of all, can I just go back real quickly to one of the chapters that I wanted to mention is it says a feminine revolution will save the planet, and that's partially borrowed from the Dalai Lama, but it's an idea whose time has come, and it's an idea that is fully within my cells. And what that means, it doesn't mean women. It means our yin, feminine, receptive energy. It needs to come out. So we're in the middle of a feminine revolution, means we are in the middle of a revolution that potentiates and values love, compassion, forgiveness, kindness. That's what we are in the middle of. That's what is happening. We just got out of balance. We now, those of us who are being called, and that's all of us, we are now tipping the scales back because we're recognizing that we are all connected, that we are all light, and we are speaking up. With love. Love. We're loving everything, and we're having so much fun.
Well, it's so much easier. See, the thing, it seems like the other was like wearing a costume, and you had to go, okay, well, now I'm going to be with my family, so I'm going to take that role. And then, oh, now I'm a business person, so now I take that role. They're like costumes that you put on and off. Well, if you don't have to have any of it, and you show up raw and real in love, there's no, it's so much easier, you guys.
Oh my God, that is it, Kathy. You described it so perfectly. That's exactly what my life was like. It was fragmented. Okay, now I'll put on this costume and I'll be the news anchor. Now I'll put on this costume and I'll be the mother and I'll make the cookies. And now I'm bringing them to the school. But it was so much that, I mean, I was constantly changing costumes. And now it's time to share intimacy with my husband. So let me put on that costume. And all of this was like, you know, forced programming of what I thought I needed to be. But I'm not putting myself down for that. I'm just saying I bought in so much to, you know, trying to be the best I could and please the world. Then I realized, what's that?
I think all of us, all women, well, I don't know about for men. Well, I'm sure men's programming is similar. They have to be strong and aggressive, and maybe they don't feel like being strong and aggressive.
Yeah, exactly.
So but what you're finding now is that I think energetically, with the changes in the earth, you're finding a path that's so much easier than what you went through 10 years ago, or what I went through almost 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, where I had to like not destroy. I had to step out on the ledge.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Make it not just, there comes a point where we say, I cannot do this anymore.
Right.
I cannot, I will not. There's a point where we make a choice, and we say also that I will surround myself with people who accept me for exactly how I am.
Right.
And I will speak my truth. I'm going to die anyway, so why not speak my truth?
Right.
That's the place that we get. And then, oh my God, the whole world opens up, and it's pure fun.
Yes.
It's pure joy and light and love, and it's all real. It's all real. It's not like Pollyanna.
Yeah. So, but I still find myself, and I don't know if you do, but I still find myself like wanting to be validated, or like when we talk and something will happen right afterwards, like, oh, good, I'm not crazy. Do you find that too?
Yeah, it's because I do find that, but I find that the people that attract to me and that I'm attracted to, we all continually validate each other. And if there's people that don't get it, I find that what they feel is the love. So they might be way out there for them, because I'm talking about energy, and I'm feeling energy, and I'm letting myself be guided by energy. But they might think, oh, this whole energy thing. And then I'll say, Tesla said it, Einstein said it. When you want to discover the secrets to the universe, think in terms of frequency and vibration. So I will say that to them, and we all know that energy is everything, but now we are learning to work and play with it.
Right. That's right.
The fun part.
The wizards.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because if you are in that higher frequency level, and I don't know, it's all, who knows if there's levels or not, but if you're in that wave, it's recognized that you have more capacity to co-create with the universe, because that's more congruent with Mother's wave, the field that's here. So that's so neat. Well, before we got on, you were talking about the Course in Miracles and your work with that. And then you also mentioned something about the Way of Mastery. Could you share it? And I did tag Joanne Palladino, hoping that she'll, because she's the Way of Mastery person too.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I had the amazing opportunity to meet JM, and who channeled this book, and channeled a series of books. But so he gave me his book that he had written notes in, and here's the book. I mean, look at that cover. That's just pure light. It's such high vibration coming through here. Like when I put it to my heart, I'm just like, oh, love. So he gave me this book, and I'm reading. I've read almost all of it, but I'm taking in small doses because it is talking directly to me.
Right. Right.
It is like saying, okay, girl, this is what you need to do. And this is how you let go of the appearance of, the illusion. This is how you do it, girl. And then something will happen, and I'll be like, oh my God, here's the example of, they said, just let this go. This was in the book, just let this go. Oh, I can let this go. Or, oh, I can feel in my body, I'm having a fear thought. I can feel it in my body, and it doesn't feel good. What can I do? Well, it's all coming through what we can do. Just like how do we serve the universe? We just choose the next higher thought. But yeah, so there's so many amazing ways that we can receive light into our journey, light into our body and through our journey. And this is one beautiful way. Yeah.
Well, for those people that don't know about the Way of Mastery, the Course in Miracles was a channeled book that that's very well accepted and used. That is a course on forgiveness, really.
And a course on forgiveness, and like a daily guide for life.
Right.
And forgiving at the very basis of it. And then
the way of mastery is the way of the heart, really. There's the book I have is 3 books in one big blue book. It's like a doorstop. It's this huge book that's 3 different books all in one.
Yes.
And it's really it is so powerful. I mean, you almost can't just read it.
No, because it's so, there's so much high energy coming through it. It's like you have to I have to read it in small amounts so that I can calibrate and almost upgrade as I'm taking it in. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm integrating a higher truth as I take it in. And that's a vibration that permeates all levels of my being.
That's perfect. Yeah. So soul body fusion. That's what you do. Soul body fusion, light fusion. So I want to know. So there's people saying no work. Peter's saying no work, just play. Both are an attitude. And Elsie's saying play on the infinite playground, which is part of her process for creativity.
Oh my God.
Too. So you guys, what I wanted Bree to talk about a little bit is the opportunity that people have to integrate this kind of her work into your life. And I think that you'd find how quickly your world could shift. Do you want to talk a little bit about your sacred plant medicine journeys or your process?
Well, can I share real quickly how I started even using and became open to plant medicines?
Sure.
Okay. Well, first of all, I really never was into drugs per se. Like I never really got into alcohol, you know, and I tried marijuana in high school and everything just, I saw so much like in that one experience that it was overwhelming and I felt very paranoid. And I went home. I was going to spend the night at a girlfriend's house just so specifically so we could try pot, and her older brother was going to get some for us. So we did it, and I started feeling like I could read people's thoughts, and I just became aware that everything wasn't as I always had seen it. And it was so overwhelming. I went home and decided not to spend the night. And so I went back home, and I was in my childhood bed in my bedroom, and I heard voices. I went to sleep, and then I heard these voices, and it sounded like, you know, they were coming from the foot of my bed. And it was a dream. It felt like a dream, but it was louder than a dream. And I woke up, and I was having, I said, what is this? And I was getting this warning. It was saying, don't do this now. Now is not the time to do this. This could cause irrevocable harm in your brain. And I got the sense that to do marijuana at that point in my life, that it could be detrimental. And that was fine with me. It was a scary experience, and I didn't know what, you know, and I said, how come this feels so real to me? And this doesn't feel like a dream. And it said, then it felt like a collection of voices coming down in one voice. And they said, there will be a time when this is good for you to do, but now is not that time. So I wrote about it in my diary. I got busy in my life trying to pursue everything we just talked about, the American dream. Right. And then cannabis became legal in Colorado. I was there when it first became legal that year, and my husband and I got we had an edible. It didn't take effect until I was at home. I had it at dinner time. It didn't take effect until I was at home, and by then I had already become a practicing yoga teacher and a life coach, and was meditating regularly. So I'm upstairs. I mean, I'm in my bedroom, taking my makeup off, getting ready for bed, and this edible that I'd had like 2 hours before starts to take effect, and all I know is I need to get upstairs into the loft and meditate. It was just a strong desire, like go meditate, go meditate, go meditate. I went up there and I turned on some really high, beautiful music that's prayer, and I became aware that everything I had been teaching in my yoga classes that it was in my body. The ability, yoga means union, and union means to merge body, mind, and spirit. That's what yoga, that's the definition of the word yoga. It means to yoke. But I'd known that intellectually, but for the first time in my existence, I could feel, I'm doing this because I could feel this
beautiful
fusion. So the plant allowed me to enter into different, the plant allowed me to basically open up new receptors in my mind. It was like garage doors that go up. I was able to access all of me. And I had this most incredible journey through my body and out into other realms. And this is on cannabis. And that was like, you know, a half of the prescribed gummy. You can get like 10 milligrams at a dispensary. I ate half of it just to be conservative. But because I was practicing all these other tools that interact with energy, yoga, meditation, I was able to transcend my body and go into different realms. And then I became very aware of how I was in my body, in the everyday world. I became aware that I had not properly breathed, even though I taught breath work, because I didn't know how to bring my mind so acutely to what it was that I was teaching when I was teaching it. I was doing breath that I'd been taught, and I was teaching breath, but I wasn't able to bring my mind into the breath. The plant medicine in the form of cannabis allowed me to bring like all of my focus, all of my concentration into that breath. And I realized my body had been like contracting and because I had been starving for breath. Right. And when we experience stress or trauma, we tense up, we contract. If someone yells at you, you go like this because you go in protection mode. Right. If someone almost cuts you off in traffic, that's a fearful experience. You go like this. You get a buildup of a lifetime of experiences like that, and you're no longer flowing. You're no longer flowing in your life because you're walking around as a contracted, shriveled up being in protection mode to survive. So the plant medicine allowed me to, first of all, start breathing and giving myself life-giving oxygen that I needed, and it went from there. It went from there to where I was owning what I was teaching to such a degree that I started teaching how to transcend the body vehicle, honor the body vehicle, and then take such good care of it. Take care of what you say, because we're programming our body continuously. So I started watching everything that I took in through my senses. What I allowed myself to watch, if it was fearful, I wouldn't watch it because that's going to cause me to contract mentally or emotionally. What I ate, if it could allow me to open up, and what I allowed myself to listen to, see, eat, because I realized even the book that I read, I'm basically, for lack of a better definition, I am eating the book when I read a book, because I'm taking it into my being, and I'm going to become that vibration that I take into my being. And so do I want to resonate with a fearful story? Or do I want to resonate with the highest frequencies of our highest potential as a human being? So,
and you do, and so you're a way shower for so many people that want to actually have a spiritual experience with yoga. I think a lot of people, now you can't go into yoga studios, but a lot of people before were doing it as exercise. And it wasn't designed really as just exercise. It was designed as a spiritual practice. But, you know, I'm in Boulder, Colorado, so people are wearing the right outfits and looking at any men in the class.
Yeah, I feel like that those are, so just practicing asanas, physical postures, that brought us here. I feel like that was one way that it was palatable to, you know, Western society, was like, oh, okay, I can stomach not stomach, but I can take in the idea of yoga being really good exercise because I sweat so much in that yoga class and I feel so good when I walk out that I feel, energized. Well, that's a beautiful entry point.
Right. Right.
So there are all these, they're the 8 limbs of yoga, and asana is one way to enter. Meditation's another way to enter. All of those ultimately have in mind, or are all paths to becoming aware that we are light inside a body. So those are all different ways. So if we practice that yoga and we get still afterwards and we allow ourselves to sit in that stillness, we realize there's something deeper here, and we can transcend this body vehicle through, sometimes we need a very powerful, like power yoga. We might need power yoga initially to quiet our mind, because our mind might be so busy, and we might be that we can't quiet it unless our body is exhausted. So it has its place. But once you get to a place where you're living a more balanced life by following your body's dictates, and you are a little kinder to yourself, and you don't push yourself quite as much to what you think society says you should do, that when you get to that place, then your mind is quieter, and it's easier to more quickly go into these easier, higher realms. And the higher realms are so accessible for all of us. They're so accessible for all of us, and they're places of bliss, and we get to create joyful experiences from this place of bliss. And that's what the book talks about, how to get to this place of bliss. So now the yoga that I teach now is it's assuming that it's more like yin restorative yoga. And once we hold the poses for a long time, so yin restorative is holding poses for 2 to 3 to sometimes 5 minutes. But now we're going to where there's deep, lifelong clenching. So the working out yoga, that gets us, where we can kind of quiet ourselves. And then when you hold the poses longer, you get to this place like, oh, I'm holding something in my root chakra. I'm holding a belief from my early childhood programming that doesn't serve me. And you sit in a pose, and like let's just say you have one leg extended in front of you, something very simple, and you're just leaning over doing your leg extension, just one leg, it's just straight in front of you, and you're folding forward, and you realize like, oh, okay, I can sit here for a minute, but then can you sit there for 2 minutes, or you sit there for 3 minutes? And it's not like a test of will. It is like, whoa, this is uncomfortable for 2 minutes. What's uncomfortable? And then next thing you know, a thought will pop up. And that's a energetic block that got lodged in the hip. It literally pops up, and you'll have a memory, and you might cry a little bit, and you'll release. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, I can go lower. I've created space that I was carrying in my hips.
Wow.
So you're literally creating, you're making your body, a more flexible vehicle, so it can maneuver on the planet more easily, and nothing's blocking it. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course. And those that emotional blocks that are stuck in your body, those reduce the amount of light you can hold. So that makes total sense that this is a release. Now, when you took
it releases the blocks from your own ability to see your light, because the light is just so bright, it's just got covered up.
Perfect.
Yeah, both of those things happen. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Well, I wanted to ask how you work with people, because I want people to understand how they could work with you to do a deep, because this is transformational. This is not yoga. This is as life coaching, and this is soul. It is light body fusion. This is allowing you to release anything that's blocking the love that you are, but not in a dramatic, tragic way. The old way of having transformation was near-death experiences. powerful, painful
Mm-hmm.
experiences. But what Bree's offering is a way for her to guide you through, because she can sense your light. Plus, if you're working with her, you resonate at the same light with her.
Mm-hmm.
So could you
Mm-hmm.
explain a little bit about your process so people could
Yeah.
understand why they need you?
Yeah. Yes. 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 So the way that I work in small groups or individually, and we invoke ceremony and ritual and yoga postures and plant medicine. And when I say we invoke, we recognize the seven directions as we call to these seven directions. If we know that everything's energy, then we call upon the energy and we say, come here with us. And I know I am my own teacher. I know I am my own guide. We affirm those truths, and then we start to work with the energy. Sometimes I'll have people go in poses when I sense that there's blockages, but I will use music, and I'll use music. We'll partake in plant medicine. You don't have to. Sometimes some of us are so sensitive already in the world, we don't need to have plant medicine open us up even further. So we have to make it palatable with our nervous system. Otherwise, we're blasted and it's more than we can handle. So I sense that we talk beforehand, before we do any kind of journey work, if we're going to do journey work, and we make sure together we agree on the path that we would like to start with. And so it's at each person's pace. How much light do they want to open up to? How fast? How much clearing do they want to do? How fast? And things will come up that we aren't even consciously aware of that we're holding. So it's a very individualized process. But we'll partake in the plant medicine, and then we will, I'll guide us through a body scan, recognizing and becoming aware of the chakras and what each chakra governs in our body. We'll just go through this scan to help us relax as the medicine takes effect in our body. And then we let music guide us, like an evocative playlist, guide us through these different realms and journeys. And the plant medicine opens us up to feeling these different realms. And it is a lot like if you took psilocybin. It's a lot like psychedelic journey work, and it is using cannabis as the psychedelic. And cannabis has been classified as a depressant, as a stimulant, and as a psychoactive. And according to all the information that I have gathered, the scientific data that I have examined, it is the only medicine that has those three classifications.
It's wild, isn't
It's
it?
wild. So we use it in this way to potentiate its psychoactive abilities. And then where we weren't able to physically get into blockages, the music through sound vibration, sound healing,
Perfect.
it takes us there.
Right.
And
Right.
we have deep releases. So we do this individually, one-on-one, or we do this in small group settings. We do this in specific sacred women's circle, couples circle, and full moon circles, using all of the elements to help strengthen our ability to access, higher levels of energy.
It's fabulous. Well, I want to say hi to, we've got Shaz. She said, it was a full-time job stepping in and out of identity roles. I want to make sure you heard that.
Okay.
And then Paula's here, and Martin's here from Portugal. So hi, Martin. So
hi, Martin.
he's a light. Oh my gosh, he's amazing.
Everyone on here. I wish we could just have a group conversation. Let's do that sometime.
We will. We'll do it on Zoom.
That would be powerful. Yes.
Yes. So
tell me about Chaz real quick.
Excuse me?
What were you saying about Chaz real quick? He's a light being?
No, Martin. Oh, yeah. So what I wanted to ask was, how does someone figure out if you can help them? I mean, I feel you could help everyone, but you really this is deep work. And do you feel that people, the best results you've had is from people that have already done some work, or how
Mm,
do you feel, who
yeah, it's,
best?
I think we're all trying to work on ourselves because everyone wants to be happy, you know,
Yeah.
and there will be places that they don't feel at peace at within themselves. Like, you know, maybe they have some habits that are controlling them, or maybe they're in an unhappy relationship, or maybe they're not happy with their job, or so we're all looking for some kind of greater fulfillment. And so by the time you get to me, usually usually people I work with, and I don't even want to call them clients, they are clients, but I really see everyone I work with as my sister and my brother.
Yep.
So by the time a sister or brother comes to me, they've done a different, they've tried a couple of different modalities, and there's still something missing in their life. And really what's missing in their life is them listening to them, but they have blocks up. So that all we do, by the time they come to me, they realize that, you know, boy, I'm still, you know, I'm not getting that breakthrough, that I'm not feeling that total connection with something higher and greater that, you know, spurs me on, or that inspires me in my, I'm not living the inspired life that I've always dreamed I could live. So by the time they get to me, they're at this place that, like, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that, and I know I need to work on this. Or, but what it really is it is they come to me and they release the blocks that are stopping them from loving themselves. And it
Exactly.
sounds so simple, but when they love themselves, then they access all that light. So this is the process, is releasing any vestiges of or strongholds where you are still engaged in behaviors that don't serve you, and you know it. You know what I
Right.
mean? In one way or another. And so that's what
Perfect.
we do. We release the blocks. We release them physically, we release them energetically, emotionally, spiritually. There's nothing blocking you. You
And
you're gonna
then
just
people
shine.
are lit up. These people,
Yes.
honestly, you guys, the people that I'm seeing testimonials for Bree, because we're working
Mm,
on her website, and oh my God, these beings, they're just glowing, and they can't say enough about
mm,
how you brought it out in them, and that your light helped them see their light. And that's what I'm hoping that this audience, you guys, you have to check out what Bree's doing, and watch Bree, because
mm-hmm.
she's just gonna launch
Oh,
to a much higher level, because this is the time. This is the
mm-hmm.
time that all of us who stood in line to get bodies, and chose to be here at the time. This is a huge opportunity to choose to be the full expression of the divine.
Yes,
And we all are, but we're
exactly.
holding ourselves, right?
Yes, yes, and I feel like each one of us can find this on our own, but we can also catapult to the place more quickly of that self-love if we surround ourselves with other people who are doing the same thing. So it
Yeah.
just strengthens our ability to hear ourselves. So there's not any one person out there that's going to be like, hey, if you follow me or if you do what I'm doing, you can get there. We can get there on our own, but we need strength and we need courage to hear ourselves. And that's where I can come in. That's where another trusted friend or ally can come in, just to strengthen our ability to hear that still small voice inside.
Exactly. And be in community, because that's the other part of it, is you're seeing Breeze building a community that's going to be worldwide. And right now she's got this incredible community in Maui, and
Mm-hmm.
in Phoenix, where you are
Mm-hmm.
right.
And in South Africa, and
Yeah.
in Michigan,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
in Poland.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is what you have to understand, is that the internet and this period of this pause is what I'm going to call it, before the Renaissance. We're in the Dark Ages and we're going to the Renaissance.
Yeah.
This has brought a lot of us together, and the digital transmissions still work beautifully. Bree can work with you long distance and still help you do everything to pull out your essence, correct?
The cool thing about this medium virtually is it transmits. Transmits. And I was doubtful initially, like, you know, when I did some calls, I was like, okay, now how is this going to work? It transmits. It transmits through the airways because it's energy. So it broadcasts out.
It's your intention too. What I've found is it amplifies it if I intend for it to. And you can infuse energy like her. Wait till you guys get a copy of her book. It'll be available very soon. I'm going to show it again. So once you'll be able to, it's palpable, the energy in it. And the energy in it is, it shows a honest path to a way for you to integrate all of you, the love that you are, and express yourself that way. Because this is Bree is the example. She is expressing herself as a full-on being of light and love. And I'm so proud of you and so glad to work with you. And I hope everyone, I'm getting chills. So to wrap up, I put up your website, so you can find Bree at BreWolfe.com. She's sometimes on Facebook, not that much.
More and more, I'm having help with that. Yeah. So I'm on Facebook more and more, and Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there another way for them that you'd like them to reach you, or any other contact method?
Yeah, it's either through Instagram or Facebook, or Bree at BreWolfe.com. So if you do visit my website, there'll be a way that you can let me know that you want to talk or communicate. Yeah, Bree at BreWolfe.com.
Good. Okay. Yeah. And I hope you all will watch Bree, because she is offering a service that I don't know anyone else that is offering this type of transformation work that comes from such a kind, loving place that you're going to resonate at Bree wavelength.
Yay, let's play.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you all for being here, and we're going to need to sign off, but thank you, Bree, and love you so much. So glad to know you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be with you.
Yes, always, and there will be more.
See you, sister. Bye-bye.